Now, for what it's worth, if we rolls for gambling, I want to see the rolls for the dancing.
Ooh,
For dance
okay.
training here.
That's fair. Yes,
That's
we do need
good.
to
I
do
like
that, I
that.
think.
Right. How good are people at picking it up?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Are we doing dex rolls or?
Dex
I'm gonna
insight?
say, yeah. You've got to be able to sort of, well, it would be willpower.
Might.
There's some level of like sort of communication between you and the other person that goes, I think, maybe beyond just watching what they do. Maybe for Meru, who's teaching everybody, roll a dex and willpower, and for everybody else that's kind of doing like mimicking it, do a dex and insight.
Very reasonable.
I was gonna ask if I could study the way she moves first before I tried to imitate it, but
I'll see why not.
I don't do very well.
Well, I made a custom roll there.
I
You
saw
can
that.
see.
Yeah.
And the face rewarded you.
Oh, you made a dance roll.
It did.
Dancing.
That's fun.
That'll come in handy.
I rolled a
Hold
10.
on. Here, I'll just roll the.
I got a 7.
You're doing your best.
I'm like,
Yeah, you don't have a body.
Yeah, you don't have a body. You're in a spacesuit.
yeah. You can't tell I'm moving at all, really.
Your rhythm
You're
sucks.
really good at the robot.
Yeah. Dunk, dunk, dunk.
So, yeah. So you guys end up doing pretty well. Sharp is maybe struggling a little bit, but everybody else seems to be catching on pretty well. Manages to get a lot of the moves down. Oddly enough, Gunnulf seems to be maybe a bit of a natural at this.
Nice.
He's got a good natural
still got
rhythm
the
to him.
Yeah.
moves.
Yeah.
High
Yeah.
charisma score. Gun off.
He's risen up the ladies.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got to hand it to him.
Oh,
But yeah, so it goes pretty well. You know,
Thank you, Chris.
I would I feel like I'm going to say that if you guys want to take like this opportunity to build bonds with each other, you guys can each select a bond or establish one with somebody else if you want to
mhm.
during this sort of rest period.
Yes.
I would
I
like
Of
to.
course would.
I would like to establish a bond with Kestrel because I know that with my sister being in the prison that was kind of a scary moment. And so the fact that she is opened up and they've kind of established a bond now has been really nice for both of them. So
Okay. Yeah.
I'll go with admiration.
Jason, remind me, we can choose any of the options under the pairings, right? It doesn't need to be like pairing 1, it says has affection and inferiority only, but we can still choose like I'm sorry, admiration or inferiority, but we can choose affection or hatred or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Section 1 is just you can have 6 bonds in total, but every bond that the admiration and inferiority are not like bound to section 1. They're just those are just the 3 groups.
Okay.
Yeah, you could
Okay.
you could outright just mistrust somebody. There's no like you don't have to pick some over others. You just can't pick like loyalty and mistrust.
Oh, I
because
see.
they're-
I see why this group
they're
really is.
opposed.
Yeah.
I'm going to say affection
I-
for Albus then. I appreciate that he is going out on a limb and something he may not be comfortable with and is like letting loose and having a good time. We got a little friendship going.
I will do after last night and everything. I will do
Yeah.
affection towards Kestrel.
Yeah, I feel bad for snubbing Meru, who's having her own admiration moment. But I feel like after our deep chat last night, it would be fitting to establish a bond with Gunny.
That's fair.
What's nice is they don't have to be in
Sorry,
pairs.
Meru.
No, it's
They-
fine.
They can.
They do not have to be. Yeah, they do not have to be in pairs. It's true.
Because just wait till you hear what I'm putting down.
How old is Kestrel?
She's a teenager of ambiguous age.
Oh, okay.
Rude to ask.
She's not legally allowed to drink yet.
Oh, don't take her to the
In
casino.
in
Like-
what
And Gunolf is a
universe?
teenager.
In what state?
Oh, in
Yeah.
I don't know. What is the legal
Like in
age to drink?
Mexico or in the
In
U.S.?
roulette.
In roulette,
Yeah, in roulette. What's the
It's
legal
like
age? to
12
drink
years
here?
old.
Yeah.
whatever, probably whatever
discretion.
you can get away with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a
Okay.
little like thing,
So I could drink.
yeah. But if there's some
Okay.
chemistry and Gunolf's 65 years old and Kestrel is like 15,
No. I'm like 18 years old.
Okay.
I didn't want to make my character like an actual child in case like horrific things happen and some people were uncomfortable with it.
Makes sense.
You know.
Horrific
But,
things
like-
have already happened throughout your childhood.
Uh-huh.
But I wanted my character to feel sufficiently sheltered and innocent and youthful.
yeah,
So
yeah, okay, cool.
Makes sense.
yeah.
And what were you doing, Maisie?
I was gonna do admiration towards Myru for like
Aw.
you know, obviously with everything that she's going through with her sister and stuff, but like, you know, joining in on the camaraderie and like teaching us these awesome dance moves, something that's like a huge part of her life, I think is amazing. And I admire that. So,
Aw.
yeah.
Albus, what did you do?
She's
I did a
So
bond with
happy.
Kestrel. Admiration.
Oh, you
Hell
guys,
yeah.
nice.
After the knife game.
Oh,
and-
nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect. Yep, I like that.
Very cute.
I take it, Rosalind, you're keeping it to yourself.
No, it's not a secret. I'm doing admiration for roulette.
Oh, I forgot
Protective
you
of
could
the
do
town.
A
places.
place,
Yeah.
a place she had always heard about and never really had a chance to visit, and then through a horrific series of events, suddenly found herself thrust into, and it lived up to the expectations.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's nice.
Has
Okay.
anyone not gone? I think it's everybody, right? Maru, what did you do?
She did Kestrel.
I went with
Kestrel,
Kestrel.
Great,
Mhm.
great. Okay,
Yep.
awesome.
Okay. So enough time goes by. I take it you guys are going to attempt to leave roulette at some point here.
Well, stay forever.
So do you do anything in particular in like going to the platform, getting ready to leave, anything like that?
I
Like-
thought about this. The truth is, we're trying to be secretive and not telling Scratch. I can't think of a way that we can get on this train and him, with all his eyes and ears in town, is not going to know exactly like where we're going and what we did. So there's a part of me. It's like, do we even like get all secretive and wear hoods, or do we just go?
I think we
And
just go. I
I-
think we
I
call
think-
almost
I
more
think we-
attention to ourselves if there's 7 hooded figures on a train to a certain
Right.
certain
Yeah.
Like,
destination.
I can't think of a way to be secretive that like makes sense in this. After what he's established and his like knowledge and all that, it's like, let's just go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, maybe he's the only person he does not really know about is Kestrel. Maybe we can continue. She can go a little incognito.
Right.
Yeah.
Like maybe a hood.
Just
or
stay behind
something.
me as we walk
Yeah.
past
That's
him.
true. Don't need to
Mm-hmm.
wear a hood or anything.
Yeah.
Just stand behind.
Her in between Albus and Gunolf.
Yep.
She'll be covered.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Personal bodyguards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Mr.
Jason,
President?
I guess we're
Yeah.
just trying to catch the train. See if
Okay.
there's any open spots.
There's not, actually.
Have to ride
Well,
on top of it.
unfortunately.
Oh, the train explodes.
So you guys make your way through roulette into one of the sort of kind of side tunnels and head down to where essentially that particular tram loads. And upon arriving there, you see that there's a handful of people that are going to be getting on it. Not too many. And what I would ask is for everyone to make me double insight checks.
Insight checks are my best. No, they're not.
Dude, same.
Oh, they're-
Inspect. I'm inspecting.
I don't have a best. All right. Insight. Recall.
I got a
Or inspect.
9.
15.
I got an 8.
I got a 14.
15.
I got a
And
9.
Albus is
Maya got
on alert.
15 is
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
she got
15.
we're perceptive.
Okay. So as you guys are making your way to the tram, Kestrel, you're the first to notice it, I would say. And it is a feeling, a sensation that you were taught from a young age to kind of look out for. One that you recognize, and it is the feeling of being watched. And looking around, you're the first to notice them, but there is somebody rather tall, roughly the size of like Albus, who's hanging back and watching you guys as you travel to this tram and following you guys as you go.
Yeah.
Can I like tug on Albus's like sleeve or something and kind of point him out or something? Like, look, somebody. You know.
Albus is already somewhat aware, but yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Well, no,
I don't know.
so-
You said the
no,
first
no.
to notice, so I like.
No,
Since I
so
noticed first, I
she's
wanted
first
point
to
it out.
notice, and by informing Albus, you catch a glimpse of this figure, and the silhouette distinctly reads as one of your own people, a white tiger folk.
Oh,
They
shit.
have the right height and build, and they do appear to be following you guys.
Interesting. So they're behind or like to the side of us?
They're behind. So as you guys kind of go to move, like as you were moving through sort of the open, the stack, and you were kind of moving through it, they were presumably sort of been following you. And as you make your way down the side tunnels, they're sort of hanging back, kind of trying to make it look like they're not following you.
Clearly doing a bad job.
Hey, they are probably doing a half decent job, but eventually all you guys spot them.
Yeah.
So
Probably doing a good job for their size, you know.
That's true.
Honestly, yeah. If you have to be a huge catfolk with the task of like stealthily following someone, that's probably kind of tricky.
So I just
But
look
yeah,
down at
they-
Kestrel and I just kind of say, "Stay close to me."
Okay, I hug him like white on rice.
Aw. Oh, that's so cute.
Because everyone else has noticed now. I don't have to like warn anybody
Mhm.
else. Okay.
correct. A quick like, you know, like there's someone following us or whatever. Everybody, I mean, basically anybody who rolled an 8 or above,
Okay.
sees this person. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Albus, should we do it? Is Albus the only one that knows that it is a tiger person?
Yes.
Okay.
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 Well, I mean, I guess he could tell you guys, but he that is a feature that he would easily recognize.
Okay.
It's one of his own people. Yeah.
Cool.
Whereas we're just like, oh, large silhouette.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, whatever.
So, do you tell us? Or...
Yeah, I say something's familiar about this person, but that's not likely.
I assumed they were just a member of the town. If it's familiar, is there a chance it has to do with something else?
It's familiar, but it shouldn't be familiar.
Should we just keep going?
I would probably say we need to make it to the street.
Okay.
But do I feel any sense of connection to like this? Like, do I feel like a sense of like I should recognize this thing as like my own people? Or is it like I'm kind of still on the fence about like this kind of looks like something I would be familiar with?
You definitely get the distinct impression that this is one of your people.
Okay.
And it isn't just a silhouette type thing. It goes beyond as you kind of watch them sort of like try to blend in and kind of keep a low profile. You kind of catch between your glances as you guys are also trying to not just stare at them.
Right, right.
Unless you are. You're just like, you know.
Yeah.
But like, assuming you're trying to kind of keep it on the down low that you see them and they're kind of trying to keep an eye on you discreetly. But Albus, you recognize some of the like kind of techniques that they're using to be covert is the sort of things that even you were trained at one point.
Got it.
Yeah. So it is a recognizable pattern that it would clearly track that they are somebody that shares an origin with you.
Okay.
I'm just imagining like a tiger stalking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Pretty much. So I just kind of want to look at the group and tell them we need to make it to this train. Because my plan is we're gonna make it to the train. We're gonna get to the train, and I'm gonna confront this whatever it is. Once we make it to the train, I know that we're at least safe in that area before we get there.
A dumb small question, but how are we doing on time? Did we leave ourselves
Yeah.
30 minutes for the terminal, or are we like piece of toast in mouth running late?
That's a question for you guys. I'll let you decide that.
I
I'd like to
feel
think
like
we left a little early. But
yeah, I think we would be
I would've
punctual.
thought-
we don't want to wait another full day for the next tram, so I
No.
would think we have some time to wiggle with here.
If we
But
were
Yeah.
really worried about being secret, it would make sense to kind of cut it close.
Yeah.
But since we're not, I agree. Let's just get there early.
okay,
Early-ish at
Yeah.
least.
so it's not like, well, we don't have time for this, so if they're gonna follow us, they're gonna follow us. We gotta go.
Yeah.
I want us to like push forward. I'm gonna like encourage the group to want to push forward to the train. I'm gonna keep an eye on whoever this is and see if they get on the train.
Okay.
So you're gonna try to hang back.
Yeah,
And,
I'm gonna
like,
hang back.
split
while
off from the group?
goes ahead.
Okay.
Albus, do you want
then
backup,
make-
or do you want to handle this?
I can take care of this myself.
All right.
So is Kestrel still hanging on to you?
I see. Is everybody else moving forward?
I just kind of move my arm to like shift you to like go with them.
Oh, okay. I say, be safe.
Yeah. He'll
And
be
then I
okay.
go.
He'll be
Be
okay.
okay.
Don't worry.
Okay. Okay.
You don't know that. Those are false
I'm not
promises.
far behind. I'm just basically the last person in our group that's walking behind everybody.
Mm.
Okay. So you kind of try to take a corner and then like split off from the group or whatever. It's kind of what you tried to do. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, look, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Make me a dex and let's go with insight check.
Well,
Well, one of those was a 1.
Maybe
The
re-roll
bigger one
that
was a 1.
yeah, I might use a Fabula point
Yeah.
to redo that.
Okay.
Tiger instincts
Tallied.
kick in.
It's the difference between you like slipping into
My
the
hands
shadows
in, yeah.
and you stopping at like a sunglasses
My
kiosk.
prey predator drive kicks into overdrive. And I'm
Right.
like, fuck.
Slipping into the shadows
Well,
or slipping on a banana peel.
Yeah, that's a little
Do
bit
like
better.
a
much
burn
better.
notice.
Okay, much better.
That's a
Nice.
little better. Okay.
What did you roll?
13.
13.
So you kind of slip off to the side while everybody else heads down to the platform. And as that happens, you, Albus, notice the tiger folk who, as they sort of round the corner, you are being much stealthier than they are at this point. You've sort of split off and you're kind of lurking in the shadows. And although they're doing their best to kind of blend in, obviously you've already spotted them. So you notice them sort of kind of discreetly kind of get to the corner. They're kind of like trying to keep their eyes on the group. And you notice them as they sort of peek around the corner to see like where the group goes. There's a moment of realization on their face and they start looking around, trying to like find somebody. And they seem to be a little concerned, as though they've lost track of who they were following.
Okay. So I want to sneak up behind them.
Okay.
And once I get up behind them, I want to take out one of my daggers and put it up to their side. And then speak in kind of a softer tone and ask them who they are.
Okay. So you kind of stealthily sidle on up. You kind of wait for them to sort of pick a direction or figure out, like, once they kind of settle on where they're trying to like look, presumably for you, you sneak up behind them, put the dagger at their side, and you ask them who they are. And immediately they freeze, and you can hear a sort of a male voice, and they're just like, "Hold, friend, I do not wish to fight."
And then I'll ask them, why are you following us?
I was looking for you.
Okay, and then I kind of slowly pull the dagger back a little bit to allow them to kind
Okay.
of turn around.
Okay. They do, and they kind of pull back their hood as they do, but then they kind of keep their hands up at their side, so you can they're trying to be as passive as possible. And he kind of looks to you, and he goes, I apologize for my curiosity. I had to make sure you were not a threat, but I did not mean to intrude. I understand what this may look like.
Are you from my tribe?
And he nods. Yeah, I am. I apologize. I'm Aravind. I wish to discuss something with you. It is a sensitive matter.
Proceed.
And he kind of looks and he goes, this may be a tough discussion to have. Is there a place that we could sit and talk discreetly? Or with your friends,
I was gonna say,
if that would make you more comfortable.
would you be able to do a little bit of traveling?
And he nods. He goes, circumstance dictates that I can, yes.
Then stay in front of me and follow, and we're gonna go to the train.
And he complies.
Okay.
He stays in front of you, and he kind of remains quiet, a little bit thoughtful as he approaches the rest of you. And he basically he doesn't cause any issues, doesn't try anything. And he approaches the platform, the train platform, and all of you guys see Albus basically leading another white tiger folk over with a dagger to his back. So
Damn.
And then as we make our way into the train, I find one of the seats that is furthest away that's open. I go and gesture to him to go and sit down over there while I follow him with the knife.
So, you guys, as you kind of approach the train, there's plenty of room inside. There are no seats, though.
Okay.
There's essentially just one large sort of, basically a shipping container that's made of a lot of sort of like wood and metal and stuff all cobbled together, and it's got like a big logo on the side, and it's like securely fastened down to like little latches on the floor, but the rest of it is open other than the like 5 or 6 other people that have just sort of been mulling about and chit-chatting. You guys are actually the larger group of extra people that have decided to hop on this tram as well. At least as far as you can tell. There's only probably 10 minutes or so until the tram leaves. So there doesn't seem like there'd be a whole lot of extra people coming. But yeah, so you can walk him in and sit him down wherever you'd like, if that's up against a particular wall or wherever you guys decide to settle.
So me and
there,
Arabin are
basically.
now with the group.
You and Aravind are with the group, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to introduce him then to make sure that my party knows what's going on. Seems that we had a follower. This is Arabin. He says he's from my tribe.
What does he want?
He hasn't elaborated that yet.
And we trust him enough to bring him on board?
He's one of my folk. That's enough for me.
We'll follow your
Then
lead
that's
on
enough
it.
for me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if he came voluntarily, that works for me.
Everyone else
Okay.
is good.
Hey,
Yeah.
how's it going?
Yeah.
Hi.
And
Kestrel is very wary.
yeah, he gives to your hellos. He gives a curt kind of nod and says, "How goes? It's true. I'm Aravind, and I apologize that I have I've intruded upon whatever it is that you people are up to. It's none of my business. I simply wished to speak to your friend here. I apologize. You have not given me your name.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. He's referencing you.
It's Albus.
Albus. Yes, yes. I've much to he really seems to be like struggling with how to discuss it. And he sort of I understand your concern, friend, but I assure you that you will find no judgment from me. I suspect you and I may be more similar than you may think, but I feared that if I did not reach out to you, that there may not be many opportunities going forward. And he kind of sits and he kind of sighs and he goes, when was the last time that you saw our village, friend? And he asks you, Albus.
Almost 3 years.
And he nods. And he goes, well, why you left is your business. For my business, I will say that I always had my own doubts about the teachings of the sensei, the warriors, and our codes. There was never doubting our people's martial prowess, of course. That has always been our people's way. Yet I often found myself disgusted, I guess you could say, when it came to inflicting harm upon others. To me, I'd always found it more interesting, the art of fixing, of mending wounds, not causing them. It was, I don't know, a calling, I guess. That sounds silly to say aloud, of course, but I don't know how else to describe it. But that was some time ago. I abandoned my station at the village about 3 months ago. I took umbrage in a small monastery dedicated to the healer god. They were all too willing to take in a warrior like me who wished to heal and not harm. They were kind souls, and they taught me a great deal in that time. But, and he kind of, you can see him like wringing his hands. There's definitely a lot of trepidation and nervousness to him.
Okay.
And it's hard to tell if this is something like, he looks to everyone around and it almost feels like this is like a personal discussion, but at the same time, like it's something he feels he has to say. And there's a hushness to his voice. Like it's both a secret, but also, it has to be put out there out loud.
Okay.
Like it can't be something, it's a secret he doesn't want in a way. And he says, two weeks ago, we got word of survivors headed our way in need of healing at the monastery. We were told that there had been a battle of some kind, a massacre. A whole town attacked. When I heard which town was ours, they said it was wiped out. When the survivors arrived, I did what I could to help. They were common folk. They were survivors who had fled or hid during the attack. And at first, I took pride in not seeing one of our kind amongst them. There were no tiger folk. After all, that is what else is there but to die protecting, defending others? That is a just cause. That is our people's calling. But when they looked at me, when they awoke and they saw that there was a white tiger folk amongst the healers, they were terrified of me. They said things, Albus, things that didn't make sense. They spoke of the warriors, our warriors, walking amongst the people of the village and cutting them down where they stood. Butchers, monsters. They didn't trust me to tend to them. Indeed, they hardly wished to see me. Shortly after, I was asked to leave the monastery for my safety and for theirs. So here I am, I suppose. I must confess that I was too afraid to travel back home and see the evidence for myself, but I don't need to. I recognize the wounds inflicted upon those poor souls when they were brought to us. How could I not? They're the same wounds that you and I and all of our people were taught to inflict on others. There's truth in what they say. I don't know what happened to our home, but I fear that there may not be many of us left anymore. That the only survivors of our people are those like us. The ones abroad, the exiles, And he kind of takes a moment and he goes, that is assuming, of course, that whatever inflicted our people, whatever this curse, whatever this betrayal, it may be that only those like you and I who left, we may be the last of our kind. I realize my intrusion here. I didn't know where else to turn.
I just kind of slowly lower my dagger down, and I continue to look at Arabin, and I kind of quizzically think to myself, or say to myself, tiger folk attacking tiger folk?
And he says, if what they say is true, they attacked everybody. Tiger folk or not. They were like mad folk. They challenged all. They butchered all. I don't know, friend. I almost don't want to know. But I felt that others should know what I know. This is not something that I can keep to myself. And you are the first of our kind that I have seen since then. I hope that I can find more, that I can spread the word, that I can fix this somehow. I don't know. But I recognize this is a burden that has been put upon me and not you. So forgive me if I intrude, if I apologize. And he kind of gets solemn and quiet to himself.
And then I kind of just take a knee where he is sitting down, and I kind of again ask myself aloud and say, how could our tribes succumb to such brutality? We were strong. No one could stomp, no one could take over, no one could defeat us.
And he looking at his own hands, he seems to agree. And he goes, I do not know. I do not know. I don't understand it. And I don't know why I do not understand why this is our burden. I don't even understand what this burden looks like. But any animosity that we might have shared, traitors to our kind exiles. I wonder if we can even afford the privilege of that anymore. I don't know. And he kind of gets quiet.
And so does Albus. Kind of reflecting on everything that's just been told.
Where is the village? This is for Jason. I'm not interrupting.
I don't really know, honestly. Like, where do you want to put it, Jason?
Where would you like to put it, friend?
Somewhere to the west, I think.
Okay.
Well, I was going to
Sure.
say, if you want us to visit it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe we should
yeah.
put it nearby Lighthaven.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
if you're like,
It's
oh,
next
no,
door.
no need, the village is gone,
Where
it's
are
gone.
we? Where are we? Are we more east?
So you guys are currently kind of on the western side.
Okay.
Then there's, I mean, granted you were underground,
Yes.
but if you were to head east, that is you were headed east towards Lighthaven. You're technically headed northeast, basically under the Palace Plains, to where Lighthaven is, which is on the eastern coast of the continent. And there's a lot around Lighthaven. Lighthaven's not like, there's a large forest over there. It is actually not too far from the wall of Minos. That goes across, sort of perpendicular to where Lighthaven is, not quite,
Is there a
but
mountain
close.
range?
There are some mountain ranges and some forests up in that area, although Lighthaven is kind of on the coast.
Okay.
So if you wanted to put it over there, that
Yeah.
would certainly make sense.
Somewhere closer more to central east on the mountain range. So like we'd have to
Okay.
like go past it to get to Lighthaven.
Okay. You guys, you might detour a little
Okay.
bit, but so it would probably be south of Lighthaven then.
Okay.
On probably some. Well, let's see here. If you want it to be in the mountains, it might have to be a bit more north of Lighthaven. I think most of the coast. Well, no, we could probably put it over there. That's probably.
Well, I was going to say, like, not to be
fine.
too opportunistic, but we're going north of Lighthaven ideally anyway, right? So, like,
I-
if it was also north,
It also fits with White Tigers too being.
yeah.
So that
Oh,
would work
yeah.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's north of Lighthaven. That is fine.
Cool.
And that makes sense.
That works for me.
There is a decent warrior and like honor culture present amongst Lighthaven and a lot of that surrounding area, as well as like the Palace Plains and stuff. So it would make sense that the White Tigers settled in that sort of area.
Sure.
Whereas if you head more west towards the Draconic Republic, where the kobolds are, that takes a more capitalistic
Those
type of
hippies.
bent to their cultures. Yeah.
Would you have
Yeah.
shared where your village was located with Gunolf and I at any point when we were traveling
yes,
together?
Yeah, I would have. I would have told you where, or at least where I came from. I
Yeah.
don't know if I told you like that's my tribe, but that's like where I
Okay.
came from, kind of thing.
So I guess,
I haven't told you guys much about my tribe.
yeah. Well, you being silent, I guess I would say, like, Albus, do you want to visit your village? We can if you want to.
It seems too unbelievable to even fathom that my tribe would be removed from this world. I have to see it for myself. I have to see it with my own eyes.
I
That's a
think,
yes.
yeah. I kind of like look to the group and I'm like, I'm sure we can take a quick detour and check it out and support you.
Mm-hmm.
Myru will sit next to Albus and opens her mouth as if to speak, but then just decides to put her hand on his shoulder instead.
I would also like to give him a reassuring pat.
And
Now,
what if-
go ahead.
No, you say something. Go.
My question, and I don't know if now, like, setting up where this location is, like, messes up your stuff, Jason, but how the flying fuck did this guy just happen to find him across the fucking country and be like, oh shit, I guess I just ran into you. Hey. That's what's going through my head right now. Obviously, if I'm going to ask Albus that or Erevan that, I'm going to be more polite, but that's what's going through my head right
I like
now.
that Marie, and I mean this, I like that she's like suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's
Like
very
weird.
analytical.
Yeah. But again, Jason, if like, you know, obviously like you had just kind of set up the geography of it. So if like, I don't want to poke holes in your shit if you hadn't, I don't know.
I think
I don't know what
regardless
they
of
mean.
geography, if you're suspicious, you can be suspicious.
You're welcome
Yeah.
to ask
Okay.
him if you'd like. Do you want to ask?
Yeah, I'll ask in like a very polite way, like to Erevan, like how, you know, like, oh my gosh, it's lucky that you just happened to see
Yeah.
Albus, like,
this.
Oh, it sure is fortunate.
yeah, like,
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
tell us about that tale, my dude.
And Aravind. So yeah, his name is Aravind. Aravind.
Thank
Aravind.
you.
Yes. He is he doesn't seem particularly offended by your question.
Great.
And he seems I must admit it's quite fortunate. I stopped in Lighthaven briefly before I made my way, but most of our kind are, and he seems to sort of hesitate for a second. He kind of looks to Albus and he's like, they do not look well upon those of us that turned away from the warrior's path. There are more of our kind in Lighthaven, but not all of them may look so kindly upon us. I will admit that I was afraid. I was not sure of who to approach. I did not spend a lot of time in Lighthaven before I left, and Roulette here is, well, it is renowned for being a place where many paths meet. I had hoped I might stumble upon one of our kind if I stayed here for a while. I asked the small kobold in charge, the manager of this place. I told him of my tale, and I asked if there were others that had been through. And, well, sure enough, I spotted you. And he motions to Albus. You seem to travel with good folk, and, well, I wasn't sure if I should approach you. Yeah, you beat me to it, I suppose.
Okay.
I'm very fortunate of the company that I have found. And you're right. I noticed you before you could even make it aware.
Arabind, you mentioned a reluctance to go back. There is an opportunity to do so now, also not on your own. If we head in that direction to see what may have happened in the village, would you accompany us?
And he kind of takes a deep breath and thinks upon it. And he says, no, I don't think I could. I don't know that I have the strength to see such things. I have seen such damage inflicted upon others. It is not something that I wish to see more of. To think that I could have been like that myself, no, I could not.
I'm just
And
going
he
to kind of
gets
look
quiet
up
again.
from my kneeled position and look at him, then ask him, then where are you traveling?
And he says, I do not know, but I found you, and hopefully I can find others and let them know. Hopefully that is enough. I hope. I pray. Yes.
Just kind of raise my
Hope.
paw and put it on his shoulder, and I tell him, "Good fortune on your quest."
Thank you. And you yours, friend, whichever god you may follow.
You may want to disembark before this train leaves the station, but
Unless you are going to come with us.
one last question. You mentioned others in Lighthaven, some supportive, some not. Does that mean there are other White Tiger folk in Lighthaven who already know what have happened, if we should stumble across them?
And he shakes his head and he goes, well, I do not. There should be others of our kind there, but I did not seek them out. Our kind, I do not know what you know, I apologize. We serve as warriors. Often we are paid well for our skills. I am sure that a number of the guilds make use of our kind in Lighthaven. It is a large place. But no, you are the first I have told, Albus. You are the first I felt I might be able to approach with this.
I kind of look up at Rosalind as well, and I just say, those that stray from the warrior's way in our tribe are not looked upon too kindly.
I understand. You do stand out a bit in a crowd. If we get to Lighthaven, I just suggest we be on our guard, because either they'll be sympathetic and maybe not know what has happened, or they'll be unsympathetic or perhaps under some kind of control, and they'll be a danger to you and perhaps all of us.
Very good point.
And Arvind, sort of recognizing that he only has a little bit of time before he has to get off. There's probably like a ding or a bell someplace. It goes off,
Big whistle.
Whistle goes off. And he goes, I wish you luck, Albus. I think I may wait here. Perhaps. This place brought you to me, so I will stay. Should you need me, I will be here. And he gives you a nod and puts his hand on your shoulder, and once again says, go well, friend. Thank you for hearing my tale.
They'll paw on the paw and say, be well and safe travels. Try this thing out that's called gambling. Ignore that part.
The degeneracy spreading throughout the land.
Try this drink while you're
Also,
there.
this really tasty drink.
I was like, I'm a gambler. Everyone's a gambler.
Since you're straight to the warrior way anyways.
It's true.
So he stands up. He walks to the train car and kind of gives you all one last look and a nod, and then steps off and out into the rest of the town of Roulette. And with that, the whistle blows for the final call, and they shut the doors, and the tram moves on, ready to move on its way to Lighthaven.
That's a lot to
With
deal
that-
with, Albus.
Fun.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm also, from the place that Arabind was sitting, I'm going to take his spot now, and I'm just going to kind of sit against the wall where he was and just kind of somberly kind of think to myself about all the possibilities of what may or may not have happened. And then what'd you ask?
I basically said, like, that was a lot to deal with. Are you okay? Do you need some time?
I don't know. I don't know if I could trust them. To think that something like that could even happen seems unfathomable. Don't know what to feel.
Well, take your time with it, and we'll learn soon enough. We'll make it our goal to stop by and check it out.
Thank you.
I would suggest that when we reach Lighthaven, we look for lodging, we get the lay of the land, and we gear up, whatever was there could still be there. Whatever force afflicted your kind may still have an impact. I don't know. But if we need to go there, I'm happy to help you see it through.
The book told us to go to the north of Lighthaven, right? But we don't know
Yes.
why or what it's indicating at all, do we?
Other than Gunnolf's grandmother, no.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Because I might like later just kind of low volume to Roz only, and if somebody hears, it's not a big deal. But just being like,
We'll kill him.
the book is telling us to go north, and it just so happens that Albus's village was besieged by some unknown force. Are we thinking these are related? It just maybe not. Happenstance can occur. It just seems too convenient.
I think you're right. And you know, I'm not really a believer in luck. Sure, it happens, but I think you make your own a lot of times. I also don't believe in coincidence. At the very least, something is happening across this land. And it keeps getting worse and worse by the day. For years, I've watched as things get worse and worse. And day to day, you can't tell. People go about their lives, and in most places, it's a nice existence. But there's something rotten in this land, and the more I see, the more I'm convinced that there's something connecting all of it.
Well, I like your plan. Let's get a base of operations in Lighthaven, and we'll start to see what we can figure out about this rot taking hold everywhere.
We have a lot to do, and a lot of people who need help, even among our own. So all we can do is be as prepared as we can. Get some information, get some supplies. And I guess we'll just have to try and take them in the best order we can. As much as I'm dying to know more about my sister, that's a thread that hasn't been pulled for 30 years. A few more weeks isn't going to hurt. But for others in our party, we have more pressing matters. So I want to pursue where the book will lead us. It may so happen that our adventures take us there anyways. To me, I think their needs come first.
Yeah. I like that approach.
Let's go home, everyone.
Yeah.
Choo choo.
I don't believe
Keep-
it.
Gunnolf's excited.
Keep staying calm. You're very level-headed, and I think this group is going to benefit from that a lot.
That's nice of you to say. It's either level-headed or devoid of emotion. One or the other. Maybe both.
Too true. And then, sorry, Gunnolf, what were you saying?
No, Gunnolf's just excited to go home and see how his garden is doing, and he's like, "Let's go home, everyone!"
Yeah. Meanwhile, Gunnolf's head is out the window. His tongue is out.
Let's go home, everyone. Who doesn't love having a home to go to, right, Alice?
Oh,
Yeah. Too soon.
Cue the sound.
And the other 4 days of the trip were in silence.
Yeah.
Cuts to Albus sitting on the ground with rain coming down.
Right. Tucking his knees to his chest, rocking
Yeah.
back and forth.
Myra would like to sit next to him and just ask him questions about his home, like what it was like, the mountain range, and just to, I don't know, try and like remember the happy times. If he's willing to talk to her, if not, that's
Happy times.
I'm gonna glue my head to the window and ask Gunnolf about his home.
How was your
You're trying to scream at him
home?
because his head's over
He's
the
gonna he's gonna
Yeah.
he's gonna very excitedly tell him about the time he was growing up and about his garden and his house, and it's gonna be great.
No.
And I tell Maru about the strict regiments of training that we all had to endure as young tiger cubs.
Mm. She can kind of relate to a degree. Her she mentions it in her home there was a lot of emphasis on their way of life and keeping the culture alive and doing certain things, so she can relate.
Here he is again.
Yep, back again.
Mr. Glass.
He was
Oh my god.
So with
Very
that, we're
insistent.
on a train to Lighthaven.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
To be continued.
Yep, that seems like a perfect opportunity for us to end today's session. You guys will have the trip. You guys can discuss amongst we can pick it up with any conversations you guys want to have to sort things out. Yeah, you guys do. You were almost there at getting to 7 XP or 7 Fabula points. You were at 6 by my count.
Yes.
Unless I missed one. Yeah, so 6. So you but that is enough XP for you guys to level. So
Yay.
And we could talk
Huzzah.
off air. I think we should just roll the Fabula points.
yeah, that's fine.
When
Yeah,
we
That's
hit
fine.
7, that way we're not trying to burst them for no reason and gain that part of it, but also we're not punished if we have a bigger group
Yeah.
and we don't get to the. That way we just get 7 and we get the 1 experience, and whenever it happens, it happens.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that'll be fine. So yeah, so far you guys are at 6. But yeah, we'll pick up next time with you guys on your way to Lighthaven. You guys will hopefully have, we'll get everything sorted, but as far as your class and everything, and yeah, you guys got a lot of stuff ahead of you. So
Yeah.
good
Nice.
Good.
Cool.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks for tuning
our
in.
Glorious
Bye, everybody.
GM.